protective of every resource.
Mm-hmm.
The I've played many games into him where I will see him like not ink at times where I totally expect him to ink. Um, there we go. We actually have the Captain Hook opener, so it looks like Zan won the die roll.
And a popsicle headed right back. Captain Hook, no Diablo. At least that Hook is gonna get some lore. I know every lore does matter in this matchup, but ouch, no Diablo. Hopefully he has a morph here to go turn 2. Let's see what he opts to do. Oh, looks like he has a morph.
Morph is good.
Morph is good. He gets to have a turn 3 Diablo. Maybe he just missed the baby Diablo, or he can go into Sad Beast. A very strong play. Let's see here if Din has a turn 2 ramp, which is pretty standard for all these red blue decks.
Well, he runs 8 of them, so if he doesn't have it,
Mm.
quite unfortunate.
Very unfortunate. So this is going to be an uphill battle. If I'm not mistaken, when Zan lost round 1, he also won on the play, and then game 3 he could not take it. So let's see here what he can do on turn 3.
There we go.
What are your thoughts on the new cell card over with people using Tipo and one cell in this build? Is he now that's better than one jump? I mean, it's just crazy to be an inkable card, and now we see him play the Fortisphere. So if I'm Zan Elrathion, he's gonna go to turn 4 already and start drawing cards with Hiram.
Yeah, I think people are overestimating like the difference between one jump and sail, but I think they're largely the same card. I think, except for the notion that if you can capitalize on that one extra ink, that's what really sets it apart. And in this particular case, it happens. So
He has the Cove there as a turn 3, and
not
that's
what you want to see.
that. Yeah, not what you want to see. Oh, we see the Diablo unless he drew into it off the Moor. So we're gonna see at least some resistance coming in from Zane's side.
Never mind. Take it back. Take it back. I was like, poor Zan. I'm like, he doesn't have like anything here. But yeah, no, the Diablo's there. Okay, that's looking good. Much better for him.
Now with the Cove being played, Arathion, that Cove is gonna stop a lot of cards from Din's side. For the viewers who don't know, who might just be tuning in and aren't too familiar, how powerful is the Cove in this matchup?
How, how powerful is Cove everywhere?
Yeah, that's true. Such a strong
Insanely
card.
powerful.
Uh-huh. Very strong one drop just to be able to give that stat line to Diablo to be protected from brawls, which is something that maybe Din had in his hand, and now it's just a dead card. We see a Prince John coming in, and I believe he just questing out. Now that he has that Prince John Diablo setup, that engine is very powerful here. Din will be going to 5 ink, so he is getting close to that be prepared range.
So Din here choosing to sacrifice um, his Grammatala
Mm-hmm.
to a hook, but in order to be able to secure that ramp and an extra card to draw without triggering Diablo.
Yes, that Tala will be destroyed next turn. Oh, you see the
Woo!
hideaway?
Hideaway brawl, baby. That is strong. Good comeback there.
Oh, and he brawled the Diablo Arathion. Wow, such a powerful turn. He was able to add a card, ramp, get rid of a location, and the Diablo. So just like when we thought Zane was able to set up here, Dan had a very strong turn. We see the Ana being played here. Not sure what position Zane is going to be in right now. What do you think he's trying to do with this board state? It's not looking too good.
Hmm. Yeah, they haven't updated their ink. I was just a little bit confused.
Hmm.
I didn't see him being at 5 ink, but I probably missed the ink somewhere. I mean, I think both players are decently positioned. If you're Din here and you have a Hiram, I think you're celebrating. If you don't have a Hiram, I think this could be a tough match.
Yes, I agree. Definitely tough matchup if you don't can get your draw engine going. I believe Din only has two, three cards in his hand, if I'm not mistaken.
Too.
Two, and Zane looks like he has three to four. That Diablo was able to get him some cards along with that Prince John. And looks like he's opting to quest here. Quest here, not afraid of a Maui, which is all right. I respect it. Need to start getting the lore at some point.
Yeah, I think that's a common mistake that many like green steel players that are not as good as Zan take
Mm-hmm.
is they're just too afraid. If
Yes.
you're playing afraid into red blue, you're going to lose because eventually they will get there.
Yeah, they will get there once they start putting. Oh, and we do see that Tamatoa come in. Sorry, Tamatoa Maui come in and destroy that Prince John. So it looks like he had that card in passing turn. So then looking for a Hiram to start getting things going. So right now, Zan has to capitalize off this slow momentum that Din is going. Oh, and we see two Diablos, but that's very scary, Arathion. There's a lot of cards that Din can get rid of those Diablos with. Oh, Diablo and Prince John. A little lag
But
there.
then is on ta da da for be prepared. So that's a bit scary. Nothing happens, unfortunately for Din. But that would have been a beautiful be prepared word.
Yes, it is a lot of value for that to happen if he does draw into it. And Din's posture is just very calm. He feels like he can just come back into the game at any moment.
We should probably settle this before I let it go too far, like my cast yesterday. I think it's Zan instead of Zane, but
Oh,
um,
Zan.
you
Zan,
know,
yes,
yeah.
Zan.
Yesterday I let like two games go by before I corrected my caster.
It's okay.
But somebody mentioned in the chat who is Zane, so I figured I'd just
And it looks like they're trying
mention it.
to discard a card for we don't talk about Bruno. And we see he discards a Sisu.
Painful. Oof.
Ouch. That is crazy. I think Din was just hoping to play that. We'll see how he reacts here. Honestly, if I was Dim, just hoping to start getting my Hiram or top decking a Be Prepared here. Looks like he decides to ink for turn. Not sure what else he could do here with that leftover ink. And yeah, oh wow.
Okay. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I was about to say this is a very like not Zan thing to do, like it can so high. But like it makes a ton of sense if you have a dock, of course.
Yes. What are your thoughts on that dot card going around now? It definitely had a lot more popularity this set compared to last set. That card is just such a strong refill card.
I think it's brilliant. Uh, the fact that you can bounce him at Muse is actually should be illegal. Like I
I
think that's the best innovation the deck has made.
I actually
From
wanna point out. I believe the lag is going away now. Finally, with the Pixelborn connection, and you can see all their hands are doing a little bit more freely. Oh, we see the Be Prepared Arathion.
that was so needed.
Oh, what's crazy? He had the Sisu and the Be Prepared for removal. That's why his posture was just so calm. Wow. The lore is 0 to 12 though. Oh,
Ooh, that's one of the first times I see like let the Storm Rage on just cast in the air.
that's a
Oh,
big.
that is brutal.
If you see a dead dying get discarded.
He's just literally using these cards as cantrips and skipping
Yes.
the turn.
Din has.
Well, I mean, the Hypnotize actually did something, right?
Mm-hmm. Din has one card in hand. It could probably be a dead card. I'm thinking maybe a Maui, Maleficent, maybe another Sisu. But I think if it was Sisu, he would have just played the last turn. If he gets a Hiram here and starts drawing, it's gonna be in a bad spot. I can't see what he played there. It looks a little too blurry. Oh, develop. Interesting.
Develop.
Okay. Really digging for that Hiram. It looks like I spoke too soon. Still got a little bit of lag, but that's okay. Nothing that we can't handle. Mm, ugh, not too good of a play. I mean, at this point, how we talked about earlier with Green Steel, once you really start getting rid of their packages, their Diablos, it's really just a very not so strong of a deck that doesn't do anything without their main cores to a deck like Red Blue to where now he can just play one card like Tamatoa and instantly have this much pressure on the board here. With the lore gap being 0-12, it still feels like it's gonna be a long game to go. But if Zan is not able to answer that Tamatoa, and then starts just questing out, this game could end pretty soon. But we do have a lot of removal that Zan can use to get rid of that Tamatoa.
Yeah. Well, he's already out of his one Ana, so he can't do that anymore. So really, the only answer he has is either crashing. Yeah, Wolf Bruno. That was the other card I was about to mention. And oh my god,
There
that's
it
I think
is.
is that the third Bruno? Because I think we've inked one, we've played one. That's the third Bruno, I think.
Yes, if I'm not mistaken, that is the third one that we're starting to see on the board. And just like that, that pressure is gone. And I think if Din does not answer this board, Zan is going to be
Brutal.
able to just quest out here. Going, I believe, going to 14 lore.
Yeah, having that Bruno is just like
See what Din can do here. I'm really hoping to start drawing some remove. Oh, and there is that. Be prepared. But you know,
yeah.
Elrathion, all Din is doing is just getting rid of the board, and then Zan is just putting more threats out. And I believe that's the second Be Prepared. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe he has any more Be Prepared in his deck. I believe he was only on two
No,
or
he's on
oh,
four.
he's on four. Okay, never mind. I was confusing his list with Sailors. I know Sailor was only on two earlier. But I mean, I think that's okay, right? The fact that Din can just keep answering his board, and then eventually Zan is just gonna run out of threats. But six lore to go, still a long way as a green steel player. Prince John and a sudden chill.
Brutal.
Did he discard
Dim
a
being
beeper, or he had nothing in his hand?
Yeah, it's been a weird game. A lot of players just like passing. Ugh, I can feel his pain through the screen.
Oh no, Din just inked a brawl and pass, and now he is out of hands, and now Zan is in complete control. Oh, the top deck with the beast.
Yeah, it looks pretty doomed.
You know what's really interesting about this game is just that it literally fell back and forth. Oh, there's the Hiram. Might be too late here. A Medusa won't even do anything because that Cove is out.
I think the only thing that can happen if he hasn't inked yet is a Maui.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, technically, he could even like he has Vitalosphere, so he could be like do something like a Tala plus Talosphere to kill the John. But I don't really see how he recovers from this. It'd be extremely hard.
Yeah, it really could have gone either way earlier throughout the game. It was a lot of moments where it was just Zan wasn't doing too much, but unfortunately, already going to be prepared to Sisu. At this point, he's just top decking. I'm not really sure what he could do here with that Cove being out. Really limits his lines of plays.
So he's gonna go for the Tipo or Talosphere. Hey, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. I
Doesn't
do wonder
the
if
Oh, okay, never mind. No, you're good. Go ahead.
like it maybe it's not correct to quest first and see if you could get something better? Question mark. I don't know.
Hmm. Interesting thought there. Oh, Zan has three cards in his hand. Questing with his beats here puts him at 18 and just two lore away from winning the game. Another hypnotized with nothing. He can use to draw a card for free. Oh,
Oh my god.
gets rid
Oh,
of his only last chance of
four,
trying to fight the board back.
four of them. Oh wow.
He just passed turn Elrathion. He's just gonna say, if you can't answer this beast, I just win the game here.
1-0 for NA, but
He's digging for a Maui. And not even a yeah, a Maui will do the trick here. Just trying to stay alive with this.
no, there's no thing alive.
You're like, no, there's nothing. There's nothing that can go down for him to stay alive in this matchup.
Staying alive.
Oh, he found a B prep, but there was no ink to play it. And Zan takes game one and A on the board, 1 point. And here we go, Rathion. I am excited. Hopefully, even though I do want NA to win, I do want to see a game three. But, if Zan can take it 2-0, he can take it 2-0. But let's see here what we got.
I call it the discard penalty. Like you want to root for your friends,
Mm-hmm.
or you want to root for NA, but like you have to give it a discount. So that's why the game three comes.
Yes. yes, I agree. Definitely agree there. And I believe we see Din mulligan 4 cards. I believe he mulligan 4 cards away. So keeping three. My guess is going to be a ramp card, a brawl, potentially a Hiram or a Tala to seeing how far I'll go. And
How do you know
Zan,
somebody's a green steel player if they mulligan six?
if they mulligan 6 card, that's what he's digging for.
Oh, thank you, Zan, for giving us some insight.
We saw something.
Yeah, yeah.
So we're,
Uh,
we're gonna see a typical opening, probably of a turn one popsicle or a develop your brain coming in from Din, or maybe again playing a different item. Very, very, very standard. Really, we won't get to see the decks are going off until his turn two. Turn two is gonna be very important. But yeah, Zan taking the first game. Really love to see the chat, going off and just having an awesome time. Again, shout out to everyone joining in today. All the homies from the Lorcana community, from the 20 Lore Pro Discord. Shout out to those guys who have that awesome Discord. Shout out Mr. Stunning Rock himself. And again, all the homies in the chat who just came out and had an awesome time for these game of events. This round two has just been super, super, super awesome. And I really can't wait to see how this game two starts.
so Riplungs, is there some sleeve psychology going on here? We see that Din is playing with the green steel, suggesting I own you. I play so strong I own you in your own colors, and then Zan is like I'm going to rain terror of darkness on you with black.
It's the dark. It's darkness. It's the darkness of the Diablo coming in to just to devour his cards. And then we go see the turn one popsicle, and then I like how you mentioned the sleeves, and then I just noticed Din's not playing on a playmat, so he's copying Zan's no playmat, taunting him almost. Oh, hook.
And the same opener as last game.
What are your
Two of
thoughts on the hook? That's something that a lot of people I saw were talking about that wasn't really a staple into green steel decks. Me myself, I'm personally on 2 hooks in my blue steel list just to counter a lot of one drops plays. What are your thoughts on Zan including that into his deck list? Does he have an issue with aggro, or what's the hook trying to accomplish?
Yeah, it's definitely a hedge. The meta I think in early games, like early set developments are always like much more aggressive, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I think it's a hedge for that.
And he's playing here just to value the lore. And I guess to also counter those Pexy Tipos. And we see just a blank sudden chill happening from turn two. I don't think that's a very strong play. But if that's all Zan has, then ouch. No Morph or Ursula, Diablo. We did see he had two open up with Beast and Muses. Not the start you want to see on the draw against Red Blue, especially since he opened up that Tipo.
I'm gonna go on a limb here and say that if Din finds a harem on 4, I think pretty much like a game.
Mm-hmm.
Like you cannot start so poorly into red blue, and then your opponent having the perfect curve.
We see him ink a Brawl here. Interesting. Is there a world where he inks the Brawl because he just doesn't care anymore because he thinks that Zan, if he plays a Diablo here, is too slow?
That or he might have redundancy, right? Like he's getting
Mm-hmm.
close to 5, he might have Medusa, right? So he's probably factoring like, okay, you don't have it right now. I can Medusa on 6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Diablo was found here for Zan. That's something, but I don't even know if he feels comfortable playing it at this point, and he doesn't, right?
Yeah, I agree.
This is something that good green steel players do, is they try to, force kind of the answers out of your hand, and they just keep on holding back that Diablo until they find like a comfortable time to play it. If you can't shift it, it's just a very negative tempo situation, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I agree. And we kind of see like a slow start from both players. Well, more of a slow start coming from Zan, but even though it looks slow for Din, it's pretty much what Red Blue does, right? Once they ramp, once they start have a Tala out, now they're pretty much just digging for their key pieces. And with the player like him, I know he's already thinking turns ahead, and we can't really see what's in his hand. But I'm pretty sure he's just opting to start finding his Hiram. He's gonna take advantage of this weak position Zan is in, asking how many cards are in his hand. Things are brawl and passage. Another brawl gone. That's two brawls gone. So hopefully that doesn't come and bite him back in the future.
He must have Medusa in hand.
Yeah, that would make sense. Or a Sisu. See a
Maybe
little.
his hand consists of 4 brawls.
He's like, yeah, all these cards are bad. There's that Diablo. I mentioned that. I was like, he's seeing the brawls get inked. Oh, but like you said, if he has a Medusa, he has a Medusa, which he's probably just playing into. Nothing he can do about it other than just play it on the board. There it is.
There
You
you go.
called it. You called it. Shows why you're a top 16 invite yourself, seeing those plays.
Now it does like Medusa never feels great to play though, like because it shields like if he has a beast or
Mm-hmm.
something
Mm-hmm.
who gets the last guard here.
Oh wow, he's just able to lose all his hand. Now we're back into a top deck mode. Do have that top deck emote in the chat. I'm about to spam right there because we're in top deck mode.
If you're Din, you can't be happy about playing
Mm-hmm.
2 games in a row and still not finding a harem in either game until like you know 12 cards in or 20 cards. It's just brutal.
I think the good part about it is this though is that Tala and Medusa can stack up lore, and
Oh
they're
my
not gonna be
god.
able. Oh, okay. Well, there's oh. That beast is a very strong card to play here because now Zan is gonna be able to be drawing 2 cards per turn. And then when it looked like he was just in a strong play, this is what I'm saying. This is just so crazy how like in both games Diablo's not being open, and Dan unfortunately is not able to capitalize too crazy into it. He has his ink set up already, so he can start dropping Sisu's Be Prepared Tamatoa off the top of the deck, which is really nice. But that Maui just not gonna do anything right now. And although Zan is drawing 2 cards a turn, I think here now Din just needs to quest out, but that hook is gonna prevent the Tipo. I'm not sure. Do you not quest with the Tipo there since the hook is only going to trade into the Tala now? Oh, I guess the Tipo is not killing the hook, so that makes sense.
Yeah. The one thing that I want to point out here, some people might wonder like why play Maui here instead of
Mhm.
inking it.
Mhm.
And the answer is that like Maui's a very good like gatekeeper for preventing your opponent from doing anything and gaining lore,
Mhm.
right? So wait, what is Din doing? Maybe he's gonna write like where is Hiram?
That Hiram needs to come out now because if he does not, this is gonna be a bad spot for Din because that Maui's not doing anything. He drew that card. Let's see what he gets. That Ursula can double sing a Lord Let the Storm Rage On, which would draw a lot of cards and just pass his
I think
turn.
he's gonna write it. I think he's gonna write it. Where is Hiram? He's writing it.
This man is
He's
crazy.
he's writing it. I knew he was gonna do it. Dude, it's a legend. Oh my
Oh
god, that
my,
is.
he's just digging for that Hiram. Where Hiram? We do not know where Hiram is at. Then he is hiding somewhere, failing you at this moment.
Oh my god, what a legend. What a legend. Wait, okay, so he decided to kill.
Uh, the Medusa. He double sang the Let's Storm the Rage on.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
I like his new mat now. Finding that where is the Hiram mat? How unfortunate.
Oh my god.
Another Let's Storm the Rage on just to draw cards.
Yeah, and so he's forcing a tougher choice here between normally one would want to go for the Ursula, but he's like, okay, choose
Hmm.
Beast or Ursula. Like he's making it hard.
He has a Tamatoa in his hand. Even if that comes down to Rathion, now with the Bruno range coming out, he's just able to just discard it.
Ooh.
Oof,
Oh wow.
he's gone.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Tamatoa is Ink Matoa. And he has still three cards in hand, so it doesn't even matter. Maybe the best thing Din can do is just like to hit. Yeah, exactly. To shut off that card draw.
It looks like he kind of got a little tilted there with that draw and just passed turn. He inked and passed turn. It was very not unfortunate since we are rooting for NA, but wow, Din just not in the game anymore right now with that. At least the card draw stopped from Beast, and Zan now with one card in his hand, he's just gonna just draw more card. I think Zan in this position is going to just try to stabilize as much as he can and take advantage before Din can fight back with the board and draw a Hiram. I think the Hiram's gonna come out too late this time.
The things you have to do.
Hmm. Very unfortunate situation. And this is the crazy thing. How many cards has he gone through his deck? I want to say at least 20 cards, 25 cards. Still with no Hiram.
Not a ton, actually.
Oh, we see the Cove there, and that's gonna shut off Medusa's on that Beast. Can still hit the Ursula, but that Cove is just such a nice card in this matchup. Really can just turn off a lot of cards in Din's deck. And I believe he's gonna take some time to think here. If I'm not mistaken, you just quest out here.
No, well, questing out, we're at 4.
Oof, there's a Pete. No, be prepared for a top deck. And that is the one of Pete, if I'm not mistaken, correct? Or does he play multiple copies?
Oh, he runs 4P.
Okay, keep getting these deck lists confused. Have it open right here though. Yeah, it does play the 4P, so that shuts off a potential top deck. Be prepared. And we see him just draw a card, and he's shaking his hand. It looks like another. Uh-oh. Is he scooping it up here?
Mm.
Not sure what happened there. I think he was about to scoop it
He
up.
can't. No, 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 no. He played it. Then he realized speed is on the board, so he can't
Oh,
do
okay,
it.
okay. I see. Makes sense. Singing another card, sudden chill.
Oh my god,
Yep.
that's his third one. That is his third one.
Does he not have enough ink to play that Mufasa?
No,
Interesting.
he's
Oh,
at
he's at
7.
7. Ouch.
Yeah, it's just feast and famine here.
Yeah, and he has to top deck a be prepared here. If he top deck a be prepared here, even though that'll stop the stop Zan for a turn, it's not gonna do enough because he's just top decking at this point with no Hiram in the game now. Zan is just getting what a green steel player could hope for being on the draw against red blue. Oh, he got the be prepared.
That he needed that badly.
How many cards does Zan have? 3 cards in his hand?
And now 4, I think.
Wow, he
Yeah.
has that beast ripped off the top.
And there's only yeah, I mean, there's only one Medusa left, and the Medusa can't even touch it with the Cove, so
Mm-hmm.
you know.
There's the visions, and I have a feeling he's gonna find that Hiram now, and I think we might come back into the game here. Depends how these next sequences go for Din. He grew out that card real quick and slammed it down. Let's see if it's a Hiram. Yep. He's like, it's gone. It's there.
Takes it away. Takes it away.
Okay, so now Elrathion, now that he has that Hiram online, he got two cards in. Is there still a chance for Din, or is just Zan
Mm.
just gonna strip that away next turn?
I think he's doing the. I don't think he can. I think it's very dangerous to ink here.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, you have to anticipate a Bruno being like knowing Zan. He has one or two Brunos in hand. You know, I just if you're gonna have like your three sun chills,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's just trying to protect that hand. He definitely does not want that Hiram to be gone. He needs it badly.
Fortunately, just we don't talk about Bruno. Just answers that Hiram right away. You see a hypnotize come out, discarding a Sailed Azurite. See a dead card, but
Yeah, but
gets a
he's
draw there.
gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if there's Oh my God, this guy.
Okay,
And
two
watch
dead
him have
cards.
Bruno too. Watch him have Bruno. Watch it.
Oh man, I feel so bad just being like just as a Lorcana player in general. It's just not a good feeling here.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he doesn't have Bruno, but I just feel like he doesn't. I just feel it coming. The thunderclouds are above it. Oh, maybe he's. I mean, he has taken a lot of time, so like, who knows? He actually doesn't have it. Okay. Whew.
He gets to pass a turn and now Din quickly exerts that Hiram and gets to draw two cards. I think there's a chance now for Din to crawl back in because the lore difference is not too crazy. Zan is halfway there, but if Din is able to do something crazy this turn, like remove the beast, and this is gonna put him in a very good spot. Three cards
Yeah,
in his hand.
that was a big difference maker.
Mm-hmm.
If there was a Bruno to pair up with that, he definitely made the right line. The hypnotize draws some cards.
Yes.
Uh,
What do you think is going through Din's mind right now, and what are you trying to do in this position right now if you were him?
I'm thinking I need to find an item. I think I need to find another Hiram. It's just to get more cards. I feel very much in danger still. That there you go. That's pretty good. Now that he's at 9, Maleficent Dragon could be real, and
Yep.
like being able to deal with that beast, I think is going to be very crucial. So if perchance Din is allowed for one time to keep his hand through the
one
turn,
just one game he can keep it. He
give
should be.
him one moment in time.
And looks like he passed turn, drew his cards, activated the half hour ago. No more items though on the board. That Hiram is not going to be able to, if it does live another turn, is not going to be able to draw any more cards since he did have to discard that Vital Sphere earlier.
Think I might see like a fourth Sun Chill.
Oh my god.
Like I saw an outlines of it somewhere in his hand. That could be wrong. Nope,
Yep,
I was
you're
right.
not wrong. He's getting rid of him. What's he going to decide to get rid of here? A
Oh,
Maleficent
that must be two
Dragon.
Maleficent Dragons. There's two dragons in hand, I would think. Unless
Yeah.
maybe it's like a Tamatoa. Because like Tamatoa fetch an item. I could see that as well. But it must be like two beefcakes he has in his hand. Or a B prep, maybe. Who knows? But
And we see here, what is that? Oh, a Pluto
Pluto.
Bodyguard. There is that Pluto Bodyguard. I'm personally a fan of this card, Elrathion. I think this card is very insane for the stat line that it is, being a 5/5 on play. And if it has any damage, it goes back to one attack. Such a strong card here, and that's going to protect his board from Maui or anything aggressive like that, just to protect
Hmm.
the lore gain.
Popsicle top deck is good.
Oh, wow. Such a good top deck on that end. He's going to be drawing a couple more cards. And now we have a game two, Elrathion. This is just
Hmm.
crazy. I think this is like honestly gonna go down as one of the best red blue versus Emerald Steel games in history. And we see a Sisu come down. Just get rid of one thing though. Gets rid of one thing because that cove. Although the Pluto and the Beast, they have more attack for that. We'll see here how Zan responds next turn. And this is the thing what I like about Red Blue, which I think is very strong, is when you play bodies out like Sisu and Maleficent Dragon, your opponents can't just attack into them without trading. So these big bodies just start questing and racking up lore. And now, if 3 turns pass and Sisu does not get answered, that's going to be in line 9 lore that Zan is going to have.
Mhm.
And we see here he's just thinking about his moves here. What do you think he's thinking about? Just really deciding what he wants to grab off that developer brain. Going through his trash, he did see pretty much a lot of sudden chills already gone. A couple of the discard cards pretty much gone already, with 2 hypnotize and sudden chills gone on the board. Zan still has access to a couple of Diablos in his deck, so if he does start drawing those, he has a lot of cards in his
Yeah,
hand. Mm-hmm.
I'm very curious what the card was that he kept. We couldn't see it because of the Hiram quest.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's say that he, let's say that hypothetically he, um, only had the Sisu in hand,
Mm-hmm.
then potentially like an attack on the Pluto to be able to remove like both Pluto and John could have been interesting.
Yep.
Um, but I don't. He might have just drawn into it after quest. Yeah.
Yeah, this really turned into an exciting game here. Just when we thought things were looking over, just like game one, both players are seeming to just crawl their way back, and this is a game for the books. To be honest, this is so far my favorite game of this round too. And we see here a peak come down, and nothing too crazy can turn off a be prepared, which I don't think is too crazy this turn. Stops some hard file goes. Does get to protect his Diablo and gets to move it into the cove. So that's a really strong play on his part that Diablo is going to get to live a turn. Oh, and we see a Strength of the Raging Fire getting rid of that Sisu just when I thought it was going to stay on the board and gain some lore. What a turn from Zan. And that Pluto coming in with the cove, killing that Hiram Elrathion. That was crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's
Oh, wow.
that beat here is like very brutal. Two, three, four.
What just like it's crazy how what just happened. Like we're just here thinking that Din finally make a comeback here, and then again Zan with another big board, and that Pete stopping him from be preparing is crazy.
I mean, um, he's always been on the back foot,
Mm-hmm.
right? The quite like he never quite got to stabilization, but he got close to it.
Yes,
So that's
we see
he's
here
choosing between
deciding.
the card draw.
Yeah,
Yeah.
do you think he just wants to see if he wants to rush into? I mean, that Pluto's doing no, it's not doing any more damage. Only at 2 attack because it does have damage on there. Opts to get the popsicle to I guess try to start drawing some answers for that board next turn.
He wants to probably find the be prepared.
Mm-hmm. I agree. What's unfortunate is if he draws, I believe he has one more hypnotize and one more sudden chill in his deck, so there's still some access to discard Din's hand.
We're getting a bit of risky territory though to like overcommit on the ink side of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's already like at 10 and now going to I don't even see what he
Yeah.
black.
If he doesn't answer this board, Zan is going to go to 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 lore if he does decide to quest with everything and not sing anything. The only thing that I
That's
can,
not really reasonable.
yeah, that's if he doesn't sing a Bruno. But I think at that point you just hard play the Bruno and just take the lore. Yeah, this turn is very important. I'm not sure what's going on through his mind or what else he can do this turn with the remaining ink that he has.
Yeah, that's the big redemption ultimately, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that you are able to the lore gain has not gotten out of control. Um, we also have to start. We're starting to be at the age of the game where we want to keep stock of what's been played and what's left. Um, the discard package is getting a little bit low, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
we have seen 3 sudden chills, 2 hypnotize. It still means there's 2 hypnotize and 4 Brunos left, but the Anna's gone as well. We've also seen 2 Annas. Sorry. Um, we have seen. Oh, see 2 Diablos.
Yes.
So there's 2 Diablos left. So like, if we could find a Be Prepared here, I feel like whatever comes next is probably going to be within the reason.
We see that discard package of Prince John coming in, even if he's not discarding anything, putting pressure with lore on the board.
Oh, well, good.
Okay. There's some tools for him to fight back, but it's so crazy how that sad beast just gets so much value in these matchups because like compared to steel decks, you're not getting a damage on that beast.
No, the nice thing here is that like he has the Hiram, and so he could like in a pinch if that's what he really wanted to. Um, he could choose to like play Hiram to draw the 2 additional cards. So he would like in essence see 3 cards,
Mm-hmm.
and then he could still sing "Be Prepared" if he doesn't find it at the top. And he runs 4, so maybe it's time for him to be a little bit lucky. Now,
And
if he
he.
could sing it, like if you ripped it from the top, he could sing it in a develop Hiram. He's in a brilliant position.
Mm-hmm. I agree with you. I think this is gonna be the most important turn for this game because Zan is threatening with that Diablo being evasive under the cove, with a lot of that stuff being under the cove. I think everything's under the cove, if I'm not mistaken. That's 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 lore on the board. See that Maui come
Yeah.
down? Gets rid of the cove. Interesting. Does he have some sort of removal to kill everything else?
Well, he can brawl the Diablo, and then he can play Hiram.
He has to attack with the Tamatoa into the Pluto because it does have bodyguard. I believe that puts Zan at 19 lore for next turn, which is still not enough. But wow, being on a one lifeline thread with that one lore is going to be too much for Din to have to combat every turn and force a response unless Zan does not have any bodies to put out on the board.
Someone in the chat saying Pluto and Cove should be illegal.
That is pretty crazy. 6-6 stat line, able to pretty much survive anything into the board.
Yeah. It is a strong board for Din. It's just the board that came way too late.
And we see him there past turn. Now it's Zan's turn. If he decides just to quest out here and not sing, we'll go to 19 lore. We're gonna see that Ursula be played and take a peep into Din's hand, see what he has there.
And you have to say, in the final analysis, having 4 Pete and 3 Ursulas against a deck with 4 Be Prepared, it's always going to be somewhat of a challenge. I love the Be Prep.
Yeah, we're seeing him count his deck. We see a develop your brain and a visions. So after he draws a card and sees though, and if he does decide to activate those cards, if the Tamatoa lives and he gets to bring out a popsicle, Din could potentially look at, if I'm not mistaken, 8 cards, 9 cards, and find what answer he needs to answer this board. But we see a Pete come down and be prepared is offline.
Oh, my.
Oh, never mind. That's from last turn. Okay, I'm
Oh
getting
yeah, you
ahead of myself.
scared me.
I get ahead of myself.
You scared me.
he
Oh
just he,
my
he just
god.
unexerted it. So he's questing out, going to 19. Erathion, what's
Mm,
going on? Tell us what's gonna happen.
19 is not 20.
19 is not. Ooh, I like that phrase. 19 is
I
not 20.
have I have seen red blue players come back from position,
Mm-hmm.
and he honestly has. I mean, with 4 Be Prepared I mean, still 3 Be Prepared left. I think he definitely has some options to get there.
He passed
And
turn.
he's gonna draw a bunch of cards too, right? Like he's
Mm-hmm.
going to. get the popsicle back. That's gonna draw him a card, and Hiram's gonna draw him 2 more cards. Um, yeah, he's gonna get some lore on the board. This could be the start of his comeback. But the question is, what's in Zan's hand?
So now the question, how you said it, right? What is in his hand? Well, there's one thing that we do know that he does not run, and he does not run any go-go's. He does not run any sort of gain a lore on the spot. So there's nothing that Zan can play on his turn that will just gain him to 20 lore automatically. So everything just has to quest. So in this position, Din has to answer Zan's board. Because the Ursula, how it's non-exerted, cannot be attacked over. So he needs to be able to kill everything. And really, the only way I see that happening is with the Be Prepared, to be honest. Activates that vision, finds a card. Let's see if he found that Be Prepared. But even then, what's unfortunate is if he doesn't have an item to activate with that Hiram before he Be Preps, that's such a bad negative effect. And he's questing. Looks like he didn't find the Be Prepared unless he wants to hard play it. Oh man, this is such a nail biter here. He really has to just keep drawing. I believe he's drawing that Be Prepared. If he doesn't see it, this is gonna be it, and NA will take the game here. We'll see his next movements. How he responds is gonna be an automatic tell.
Oh,
He's able to draw a card in ink and still play. I believe he hasn't inked for turn either. Okay, he still has enough ink to play the Be Prepared, if I'm not mistaken. I believe he would have just scooped it there if he didn't find it. Everyone just holding their breath here. We're just waiting to see what's gonna happen. And he has to Be Prepared, and he found it at the end of it. Elrathion. That was a crazy sequence of draws.
so
Oh,
much digging he had to do.
that was crazy. He found it, but now we're still in this position to where Zan's gonna be able to put things on the board, and Din's gonna have to respond yet again. And if Zan here has a Pete with anything, that's just gonna end the game here. We see a Diablo come out.
Sin Cove. Oh man.
Medusa's.
Oh, 2 off.
Yeah.
That's brutal. He just inked to the hideaway too. That is brutal. Oh.
Playing a hook just for more lore, more bodies on the board here. So now, again, he has to answer two things on the board. We saw that he inked 2 brawls earlier, so really he has to maybe play a Medusa into that Diablo and then play a brawl into the hook or 2 Medusas, something in that.
Hideaway Sisu.
Mm-hmm. Highway Sisu is another play. We did see him.
But he just inked one, which is like, Of
Yeah.
course, he already saw that Zan expanded one of his coves. Oh. Imagine having to. Oh. Like. Oh. Yeah, that's it.
That's very unfortunate. And looks like Zan takes the game. What an upset. Just when we thought that Din can make a comeback. Wow, we had back to back, and honestly, I'm just speechless. Unfortunately, Din did not get the best of draws, even though when we thought he can come back. But what a game,
Let's start with the seminal question. Where is Hiram?
Where is that boy? My boy Hiram was hiding inside my deck in a cozy cove, probably. That was insane. Now, by the way, a little recap because I forgot about it. In CL, my bad luck was almost like that, what you saw. It was worse because I couldn't ink, but in here, I had RAM, I had everything I want, but no Hiram, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did not pay the Hiram tax.
And then, not gonna lie, I'm not mad at Hamza Khan, but damn, he plays 72, and I played Develop Your Brain. I played 3. How far goes 2 Talas, and I didn't see one Hiram in my over half of my deck. I'm like, no way.
Yeah,
Twice. I'm like,
yeah,
twice.
that was a very crazy game, and honestly, we were biting our nails throughout the whole match. You know, game one and two, Zan not opening that Diablo package and being able to claw back and fight you and your board. It got to a point where eventually you just had to respond to his whole board, and unfortunately, again with the Hiram not being there. But overall,
Yeah.
I think you played very
It's
well.
not even it's not only even the Hiram.
Hmm.
I missed in two crucial points. So in game one, I had then decided to commit into the what was it with Diablo and Prince John. I B prep and the 6 ink. Yeah, Maui on field. I need to top deck any inkable and top deck Dime.
Hmm.
So I couldn't be prep the board because at that state we both would had nothing, and then we could just play off top deck, and my top decks are better. In game two, where in the mid game I had Mufasa in the hand as the only card, and I just needed an ink, so I can play Mufasa. He needs to out it, and I get 2 cards back, potentially like my filter card that I inked, I think. And yeah, at least I can have a threat, and he has to respond to that, and I have 2 hand cards, so discarding works less. But I hit a, what was it? How far ago when he played Pete? So I'm like, wow,
Yeah,
that
you played it for a
literally lined
minute,
up.
and then the lights went on. Like, oh no, he had beat. He can't. He can't.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh no.
Out of all the
Ah,
versions, he should be hitting Hiram the most. To be
Hmm.
honest,
yeah, right,
I'm not
right.
gonna not going to sit here and be like, yeah, it was my plan for him not to draw this Hiram. That was I fully expected it to come down on turn 3 and for the game to be over.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was an amazing game played off of both of you. And then just thank you for coming on and doing this interview with you. I don't know what time it is on where you live, but again, congrats to you.
11.
And oh, okay, okay,
Yeah.
congrats to you. Awesome gameplay. We can't
Yeah,
wait to
thank
see
you.
you round 3 and hopefully have some better draws next time.
Yeah, thank you all for doing this, and thank you, Dan. The games were still really amazing in my opinion. Like, so it's really close in the end, still, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I
So
can't
yeah,
wait to hang
it was
out.
really fun.
Yeah,
Huh?
can't wait. I said I can't wait to hang out in Paris.
Yeah, man. See you in Paris, man. In exactly 8 days.
Yeah, excited.
San, what's your feeling on the matches? Like, were there any like interesting choices you want to highlight in terms of decisions that you made? We couldn't see your hand, obviously, so we had to
Oh
play
yeah,
against the
yeah.
game. What you were
Um,
doing?
yeah. I mean, in both games 1 and 2, I really didn't want to play Captain Hook in this matchup. You know, Captain Hook was mainly there for the aggro decks that I expected most of Europe to bring, and then I was like, I'm just gonna lean on the discard package to win against Blue Red if I do play against it. So I hated starting off that way, but I mean, all the stars just aligned in my favor, and so I was able to pull it off. The hardest decision I would like the most annoying decisions were when he didn't when Pham didn't play his 7th ink, and I had to we don't talk about the Maui back to his hand. Like I didn't feel great about that at all because I didn't want to give him an inkable, but I had a Prince John in play, and I just needed to keep the momentum going because my hand was so bad. But besides that, I mean, I was just thankful that every turn that he didn't draw Hiram, I was like, okay, I have a shot to win.
Yeah, you definitely did draw all the cards you needed that game one, and then game two things were just going your way. Again, unfortunately, he didn't have that Hiram, and I really like your deck build. You really had the Captain Hooks, saved there in the beginning of the game. And I don't know if I've missed it, if you talked about it before, but just what are your thoughts on the inclusion of that Captain Hook and that one of Dog did come up and was super clutch on your end?
So I would say for these EU versus NA tournaments, they're more you're trying to think about what the other side is going to be bringing, right?
Hmm.
And so my thought process was, oh, if I'm gonna, if it's like more likely that I'm like 60% chance that I'm gonna play against an aggro deck as opposed to any other deck, I need to have a way to like a way to stop that aggression, right? And so Captain Hook does a really great job at stopping that aggression. And I was just hoping that I would skip out on the blue red. In this case, I have to use Captain Hook as like the one or two or three lore um, that's going to help me the end the game. So if you look at games 1 and 2, like I'm sitting at 18 lore or I'm sitting at 19 lore, and that Captain Hook was actually an important part of that puzzle.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing that I want to point out, like for more beginner Green Seal players that maybe you can speak to, one of the things that I noticed that you do really well is like being very conservative when you ran out that Diablo on game 2. Obviously, a lot of beginning players would probably just slam it earlier, but you were very kind of judicious in throwing out all of your discards cards first to try and hope and reduce the chances that he has an answer for it, right? And so I think that was like very important in the matchup. Do you want to speak to that?
So I mean, the way you want to play the like that like knowing when to play your Diablo comes from the experience of playing blue red. So when you play blue red, what you realize is brawl is a card that you ink very often when it's not answering something on the board. So me holding the Diablo longer makes my opponent feel like, oh, I should ink this brawl because that's what they naturally do. And so the longer you wait, you have to wait for that exact sweet spot to play the Diablo in order for them not to have the answer, and then all of a sudden it then becomes that big threat again, especially if they haven't drawn a Hiram yet, right? Because that means if they play a Hiram now that I have a Diablo and it survived, it's now like created a dynamic where I'm gonna get just as much advantage as they are.
Great, great. And then Din, for you, uh, a lot of blue red players seem to be in love with the ice block. You have chosen to depart from that route. Do you think that was a disadvantage in this matchup, or you think that it didn't matter?
So the thing is, like, I haven't played Ice Block since I started Lorcana. I started Lorcana right at set 4. Um, when right after Chicago, where everybody played Sisu on Ice, and I decided to play Vitality over that because first I didn't like the uninkable nature and so many Sisus and so on. Like I didn't like that, and Red Purple was the reason for that. The locations weren't on like the radar of most people at that point, and like one castle beat you, and after I played for a while, I realized it's not only for locations, also to value trade stuff. You know, like when at some point, for example, Zan has to trade or has to quest like beast or so to push, or like Prince John, and as long as the Vatasphere is on the field, it always represent like Maui, right? Meaning I can play Tala, get something, and banish a beast, just like that. Or when I go uh, I can use Tamatoa as a Maui, and then next turn he's a value engine again, and lore gainer. So it's like so much advantage. I can see Ice Block, especially with 3-4 Cove now. I can see it, but also there are different outs to Diablo you can play without relying on Ice Block if you want to. But I can see playing both. Like if you have the space, you can play both. In this case, I literally just again took my set 5 deck and put 4 sails in, so I didn't change much about that. But Ice Block as a tech for Diablo Cove, I can see that. Else, I don't need Ice Block. Like it will until so how I would put it, as a normal red blue player, you would normally draw Hiram, and the Ice Block would normally land in the discard either way. So yeah, that's that, and that's why I like Vatasia a bit more, because you can always grab it out with Tamatoy and get instant value by just rushing stuff in, you know, like banishing something with 7 or less willpower. It's always really good. And that's why I always played Vatasia, but I can see both.
Great. Is Noje de Société France? Is he here? I don't know if he wants to ask a question. To Okay, Riplins, do you have a question?
Yeah, I
for,
mean, just to close it up, I don't want to take too much of your guys' time. I just have two things for each of you guys, Din and Zan. Just two things. One, what are you guys' thoughts on the meta? Are you guys having fun so far? Excited for the LCQ? And if you guys just want to give any shout out just to close off. Whoever wants to start first.
Yeah, yeah. Let me start so I can go to bed. I think the meta is shaping up to like a green purple and more aggressive meta. Like green purple, and then people try to counter it with like amethyst steel, but more mid rangey because you want the singers. And then again, that makes red blue good again because then you farm the steel decks. That goes in the circle, right? And now it depends on where the circle stops, but in general, I like the development because green, purple at the top, or maybe a second place, or I don't know, like at least top 3, top 4 decks. Although the matchup is really bad for red blue, it also opens possibilities in terms of you can tech harder for that, and the techs that you put in for green, purple also unironically hits like Steel Song or whatever, any kind of deck that tries to be aggressive against you, because your tech against green purple is anti-aggro tech basically, and suddenly you also have techs for aggressive decks automatically, like purple steel, hyper aggro with a purple yellow, and it kind of lines up. It's better to have, like for me, if I decide to play this deck, it's better to have such a meta, and yeah, else. I don't really like the development of Forkove, but they actually need it, I think. It goes both ways, right? It is such a bad top deck in the late game or mid game. And especially when you don't have anything valuable to put in immediately, it's so bad. And I mean, the only valuable thing is, for me at least, is only Diablo. The rest is okay. But they needed to trade now because everything is bot centric now, besides with blue, like really bot centric. So trading with Cove is insane. And yeah, for shoutouts, everything. I guess shoutouts to my friends, the Goons,
There you go.
Dale, Belido, Zan. Seeing Zan next week. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you, Din. Hope you have a good night.